Flame's good, I think.
Yeah. Still not output. Darn it. Hey, I tried. Oh well.
It's gonna be a good fire anyway.
It'll light up eventually. Is he in here?
Somewhere.
The biggest updraft fire I ever saw was on our property over there. He lit up the grass and it created a giant vortex, a chimney, which is what this, if I lived at the top, it starts an updraft. That's why it's called top. You light at the top and you get updraft. It warms up, makes a column of hot air and swirls, and then it just creates a energy of its own. It's amazing. But that was the biggest rocket stove I've ever seen because it had cold air being injected across the, underneath the road there, Peter. It sucked cold air and that shot at the fire, and it just raged right up the creek bed. Came within 4 inches of Harold's house. Get out of the way, you're in the way. You were right in the way. Yeah.
I read some stories about the big fires they had out in Idaho back in the early days, and when those fires were going, as big as any of those rivers were, with those trees, when they created such a thing that those trees were on fire, and that column of pressure and air was sucking those trees right out by the roots and flaming trees just like arrows shooting across some rivers.
Wow.
And that thing, they told the story that some of the few people that lived through it, that actually seen it, there was nothing, apparently nothing ever really quite like it.
And you know why a lot of them survived?
Why?
Bill can tell you why. A guy named Ed. Come on.
Go ahead, Ed.
Pulaski. Pulaski.
Oh, the Pulaski, yeah.
He got a bunch of guys in a mine or something, and he pulled a gun and he said, anybody that comes out, I'll kill them. And they stayed in and they lived through it. That's the only reason they lived. They wanted to get out. They wanted to run from the fire. He said, you stay in here or I'm going to kill you.
Here, did you?
You ever heard of Pulaski axe? It's for cutting roots, and it's got a hatchet. And yeah, that was named after him because he's the one that designed
I got
it.
one somewhere, but I ain't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
And I got a fire axe somewhere I ain't seen either, come think of it.
No, you got that. Remember, I tried to split. It's in the thing. Should be.
I haven't seen it in my home.
I had watched Buck and Billy Ray Smith, and this fireman's axe is great for chopping wood. I took it out and I about killed myself because I'd slam it into the wood, and it took me more effort to get it out than putting it in. I was just like, man, this is going to kill me if I keep this up.
How long have you been doing Buck and Billy Ray?
Huh?
How long have you been doing?
Oh, 2 years. Oh my gosh, what an awesome man.
I got a lot of his old, some of them chainsaws he's got in there.
Yeah.
Some of them old ones, I got some of them.
What a museum.
That son of a bitch, just think.
How many think he has?
He's
200?
got people sending him for scot-free, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
And he's got all these trucks, you ought to see them. Old Ford, like 62 one-tons. These were, the Ford Motor Company, man, they were making this stuff way back then, and he's still driving all his trucks in his business.
Did you see he found Bertha, a sister or brother to Bertha? Somebody's going to give it to him. He has to go get it.
What is it?
His truck. Myrtle.
Yeah.
Bertha. Myrtle. Yeah.
He's got so many. I haven't really been into it the last couple of months, but when I was in the chainsaws.
You're talking about chainsaws, right?
Mostly the chainsaws and
Yeah.
the axes and how to rebuild. He's really a genius.
Yeah.
He's the old woodsman,
Oh, yeah. And a good drummer and singer, too.
Hi, Bill.
Vancouver Island, the trees will get to be 200 to 300.
I'll give you a hug, but I don't want nobody to steal my seat.
It's
gone.
I told you they were here.
You ever watch Braden Rockcliffe?
Just in time for the fire.
He's on Vancouver Island, too. He splits wood. He sells firewood. He can sling. He has two. He can do it with mauls or axes. Like Seth was the first one that told me. He said I can split with splitting maul in both hands, and this kid does it. I looked it up. 2 6-pound Husqvarna splitting axes, and he'll have 300 chunks rounds set up, and he'll just go and hit bam, 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 bam. And he loves video games, so he'll do it like video games. He'll play music. Headshot, headshot, headshot. Boom, split him in half. Amazing. He impressed me so much. I got 2 baby Husqvarna, the little 3-pounders, not 6-pounders. I couldn't do 6-pounders. Although these things are not as safe as his, though.
I've been looking at some used military Swedish and Finnish
Swedish what?
military, but they're Swedish steel, they're Swedish axes and saws.
Yeah.
Military surplus. The Swedes and the Finns have always been the world leaders when it
Oh yeah. We learned that in Kansas. We got a bow saw. It happened to get a, I can't quite remember, it was orange. Sandvik, Swedish. Tempered steel. There you go. There he goes. Now it's going. I watched the guy do this. He built a brush pile because he wanted a big biochar. And he was turning a lot of brush. So he made a big pile and he walked right up on it and put some plastic, like plastic grocery bags up on top of it, lit it up. And it was so fascinating that I just sat there and took after about 100 screenshots. It was like it was alive. You'll see this happening now. You'll see like almost faces in there, like plasma. It'll start vortexing. After about 100 screenshots, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I could sit here and do this all night long. I'd pause it and screenshot it, pause it and screenshot it. The educational part here is that this is the only way to start a fire. I mean, the only real way to start a fire. If you were doing a campfire or stove, you put your heavy stuff at the bottom, your lighter stuff, fluff at the top, light it up, and I can do this in a stove, a wood stove. I can set it up, light it, and come back an hour later and put another piece of wood on it. Because you can just walk away from it, fire and forget. People that are constantly getting kindling and starting a fire over and over again are backwards and upside down.
Did you get to talk to Dan Cochran for a minute?
Yeah.
Good. Did he understand I was cooking? Dan Cochran?
Yeah.
Didn't you talk to him at all?
Hey, like my little fire.
I told him I was cooking.
Seth here?
You were here.
He's eating?
He'll be here in a minute. He's riding with CD. Remember CD?
No, he's not bad.
Well, I don't know if you know it, but Joe really wasn't taking it serious situation.
I know, that was one of his main problems.
One time he told me, he was, but no, I don't know if you know it, but he was totally, he was using caffeine like cocaine, man. I got there that one night, he had this huge coffee, and you know, if I drink a coffee like that right now, I'll be up all night. And he was like that all the time. And I accidentally dumped his coffee over him. He was getting the shakes. And he quit trying to get him another coffee.
Yeah, a pound of sugar at the bottom.
Well, he was overdoing it. When we go to the restaurant, you know, the coffees, you know, I might drink one, he drinks 3, 4. We were just throwing him up, you know.
I warned him, I tried to help him with the sugar, and he'd be up to 500, 300, 400 all the time.
Chocolate milkshake or something like that. One day we went out to eat, and he got we both got, we put in two deal pizzas. Yeah. So we each had our own pizza. And so I had my 2, 3 pieces, I was out there fishing with the
Hey, don't waste those. Don't throw those in there. You go collect more of them, fill that back up. Hey. I'm just kidding. You should do it though. That's ridiculous. That's my goat ammunition, damn
I
it.
think what I ate maybe was 3 or 4 pieces.
Huh? Hickory nuts. I mean, they're good for shooting goats and dogs with. You know, dog come over, I'm going to shoot him. I don't want to kill him, but I'm going to let him have some pain. Dog chases the chickens. He needs to be hurt before he kills the chicken. Then he gets shot with a reel. Like your buddy,
One chicken.
what's your buddy? The trash hauler.
Doug.
Yeah, Doug. Some guys jumped him and tried to rob him. He walked away and pulled his gun. He goes, now, you guys can either lay down on the ground and wait for the police, or you can find out how fast lead's going to get to you. How fast lead travels, yeah. They laid down on the ground. They knew he was serious.
Who said that?
Doug. Yeah, I mean, great Louis L'Amour quotation, you know. Not quote, but it sounded like Louis L'Amour stuff. You can either lay down on the ground with your hands behind your neck and your ankles crossed, or you can find out how fast lead's going to get from me to you. Boom.
Wasn't a cooking fire, in other words.
They killed his dog.
One time I was cutting
His
a lot
dog
of
that he
timber
had
on my
bought,
place.
like, spent
So I
hundreds of
had all
dollars
these
on
Doug?
training.
like about
Yeah.
15 of them.
And was such a sweet dog. I don't know how they could even.
Turned out to be a really
can't hear
good
you.
night, like it was perfect for
I
us.
said
Move
she
closer.
was such a sweet dog. I
I
don't
had
know
all
how
the
they could
piles
kill
made,
it.
so
Closer.
I went around on the
I'm
three-wheeler.
deaf. This is my good ear. No, over here.
I started
Bill's
them all.
videoing.
Then I went
Huh?
back up
Bill
to
is
the house.
videoing. That's why I was moving
Then
over.
when I
Oh,
was
that's
up at the
okay.
house, we gotta get going.
You leaving?
I've
Okay.
been up since early this morning.
Yeah.